Man, how would you benefit in life if you had a resource dedicated 100% to your personal development as a man? Somebody that was in your corner, helping you climb the mountain called life and helping you summit the climb of life. I want to welcome you to the next stage, a podcast dedicated specifically for men. I was made aware this last week that we have women listening too. Women, you are welcome. Please don't club your husband over the head with this stuff, but rather maybe just understand, empathize. But please, if you're listening and he's not, pass it on. Pass it on to him and to some friends. But I want to welcome you. My name's Rob Stout. I'm the host of The Next Stage. And we are in the middle, sort of in the middle, we're halfway through a small series that we're doing with 4 episodes, all centered around 4 fundamental, foundational pillars of life. And they all begin with a P. It's purpose, power, passion, and perspective. Maybe not in that order. Passion, power, purpose, perspective, in that order. Because that's the first 2 we did was passion and power. And this week we're talking about, or this episode, we're talking about living a life full of purpose. And the main thing I want you to take away is men of purpose live a life of purpose on purpose. It's not a mistake. It's not, you don't kind of wander into this. You need to do it on purpose, live in this way. And I'm excited you're with us. Picture this as a piling going deep, deep, deep into the ground, hit on bedrock that you're going to build your life on. That's what these 4 episodes are about. And this one in particular, as we get started, so important. I want to encourage you, if you are a man, share this with your son, share this with your daughter, put it in her language, put it in his language. But living a life of purpose is so important, and just excited. If you're a guy, I would encourage you to listen to this. Maybe grab some friends of yours, sit around a coffee shop, grab a beer together, whatever you do. Grab a fishing pole, do whatever you do. Talk about it on the ski lift, wherever you're at. But share this, and it's great material just to reach into relationships and talk about and ask how it applies to your life, very simply. To get us going today, I want to share a story with you, as I frequently do. I learned to love fly fishing about, 15 years ago or so. Maybe it was 20. I'm not sure. But a couple of friends of mine were talking about it, how great it was. And I grew up in Ohio bass fishing. I mean, we hooked them and we drug them in, no big deal. This was a completely different thing. It was like, chopping wood versus swinging a golf club. It takes a lot of technique in order to fly fish. And I was enamored. I was like, let me just go. And these guys said, hey, Rob, we're going. We've got this spot. You can land a ton of fish. You don't even have to be good, but you'll learn to land fish. So we went. It happened to be one of the coldest days of the year in Carbondale, Colorado. We went to a place, those purists will know what I'm talking about. It's not the purest place to go, but it's the greatest place to learn to fish. It's called the Toilet Bowl. It's the tailwaters of a dam, and it spills into a beautiful river that eventually dumps into the Roaring Fork, the Frying Pan River. And these guys took me, suited me up. I felt so cool with my fly gear and bundled up because it was freezing cold. First day, hooked fish, landed fish, thought it was the best thing ever. Second day, it was so cold, I frostbit the tips of my fingers, like ashen white, and eventually they came off. Not my fingertips, but the skin. It was incredible. Third day, we're heading up there, and it had snowed the night before, and the road was icy, but we were ready to go. We had about a half a day to fish before we had to head back home. Cruising up, I'm not sure why, but I was in the lead, and I thought, you know what, man, we got to get there. I knew the road was icy, and there's a little warning sign, and you've seen this before, the little car with the squiggly lines, just, saying, hey, look out, little slippery. Another sign that said curve ahead. I thought, all right, we'll go. But I know just how fast to go because I've driven in the mountains before. Sure enough, hit this curve, road curves. My car does not. There's a major tree, big tree, a snowbank, and a ravine that dropped down into the river. missed the tree, missed the ravine dropping down, planted my car right into the snowbank. Half a day of fishing was gone because I had to get towed out, had to kind of wobble my car back to town to get it checked out. My buddies went on to fish because, just like there's no friends on a powder day, there's very few friends on a fishing day when you do that. I had to fix my car, missed the last day of fishing. And I share that story with you because of this. I blew through some warning signs. Blew through them and just thought, you know what? No problem. I got this. I'm Rob Stout. No problem. A little cocky. It's my third day fly fishing. I'm good at life. Put my car into a snowdrift, had to get towed out. And I wonder for you, how many warning signs you are currently blowing through in your life? You see the sign, you think, I'm okay. You don't say I'm Rob Stout because I am, but you're like, hey, I'm Bob, I'm Mike, I'm Chris, I'm whoever. No problem. I got this figured out. You blow through the warning sign. Maybe you have put your life into a tree. Maybe you have put your life into the river. Maybe you just need to get towed out. Maybe you've completely wrecked your life. Man, I want to talk to you today about the subject of purpose, living a life of purpose on purpose. And so leaning into this conversation, I want to invite you into this and invite you just to raise your awareness as if I'm standing on the side of the road with a sign going, live life on purpose. Live life for purpose. In fact, do it for purpose, on purpose. You get the point. When we talk about purpose, we're talking about a very valuable part of who you are. As we've said with passion and power, I believe these things, this is my belief, come out of the fundamental aspect of who you are. In fact, not just who you kind of evolved into or some kind of fluke and happened. These things are universal. And so I believe they were designed into you. Living with these aspects of who you are really come out of an ancient belief, an ancient theology of the Hebrew scriptures, 3,500 years old. 3,500 BC is when this was written. And the word where we get our word purpose really comes out of, or the action of purpose really comes out of the word heart. And it's used all throughout the ancient world. Specifically, I'm focusing in on the Hebrew culture, the Hebrew word. The Hebrew word for that is lev, and it's where we get the word heart. And it means the controlling, ruling, powerful area of your life. That part in you has a place of ownership, of identity, of the identity of who you are as a man. When you're sitting here, you're like, you know what? This is who I am. This controlling, ruling, and I don't mean controlling in a bad in a bad way. I just mean the part of you that identifies and says, this is the powerful side of me. This is the part that makes decisions. This is the part that rules over kind of the throne area of my life. It's a fundamental, primal part of your life. The imagery that we get out of that, both in the ancient and modern world, all throughout literature, is the image of a king. So picture yourself as a king in your life. Small k, I believe. But the imagery of king, I read a book called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette. And they tracked in a study from sociology, taking a look at ancient African cultures, Mesopotamian cultures, Semitic cultures, Indian, Chinese, Japanese, you name it, all over the world, Babylonian, Persian, Assyrian, you name the culture. They tracked this imagery and said, this is worldwide. It is timeless. It is universal. Literature and film has definitely captured this. I mean, you've got characters like King Arthur. You've got King Henry the Eighth. You've got Mufasa from The Lion King. Rob Stark, King of the North. Zeus, Aslan, Ramses II. Odysseus, King Lear, and don't forget my two favorite kings. One would be King Louis from the Jungle Book. The other would be Burger King, right? Don't forget that king. But the point here is that the king energy is inside of every man. Some men carry it stronger. It's like who they lead with. That aspect leads them. For some, it's kind of a little hidden. Some were like, man, bring it out, bring it out. I love it when I see that. But it comes from the heart of every man, and it drives purpose in his life. Don't forget that. King energy lives inside of you. It is God-given. Some stronger than others, but it comes from the heart of every man, and it drives your purpose in life. Now, just as we identified a problem, really, that stands in the way of living with passion and living with power, there are some problems that face us, kind of like an enemy that would challenge a king to go conquer or go defend whatever it is. This enemy stands in the way, and picture this. What is the enemy or the problem that stands in the way of you living a life of purpose, on purpose? See, there is a problem the problem is I see that so many things compete for that king spot in our lives. They may not be physical. They might just be priorities. See, if the king spot is who you are and what you want to live for, there are so many things that compete for that. For example, your career. Very important, right? We do not put food on the table without a job, without a career, without a path that we're on. You do not have much of a future, probably dependent upon others, if you do not have a path that you're on. However, that thing can take over, can it? It can become the ultimate in your life. Relationships compete for that. I mean, you know what? Spending time with my wife, with my girls, my now 2 son-in-laws, and the other one that's dating, just having time there. But those things can become ultimate things and compete for that ultimate spot in our life. Perhaps for you, it's recreational activities. I mean, there's nothing wrong with golf, skiing, boating, mountain climbing, woodworking, playing guitar, tap dancing, being a mime, being a contortionist, whatever you are, there's nothing wrong with those things. But when they compete and drive out your ability to really make decisions for yourself, that's a problem. All of those things compete for the time in your life. And I know that as you were younger, same thing with me. As I was younger, I thought I had all the time in the world. Throughout my being a kid, like days lasted for forever. The summer solstice, and I didn't even know that's what it was called at the time. When the sun's out till 9:30, you were out till 10, 11 o'clock at night just playing, being a kid. Your 20s hit and you're just kind of going for it. 30s, you're in the middle of that, maybe family life or whatever. For me, sometime around my late 40s, and I think it was turning 50, it hit me. I do not have all the time in the world. Some of you men act like you're going to live to be 500 or 600 years old. You act like you're dealing with vampire years here. You are not. And so if there's a warning sign, kind of like I passed that morning when I was driving up that mountain road, if there's a warning sign that I want to raise today in your life, in this episode, it's this: be wise with your time. Be wise with your time. Write that down. Be wise with my time. Stick that as a Post-it note on the mirror that you wake up and take a look at every day. It doesn't mean you need to live in worry, but it does mean we need to be wise in order to live for purpose, on purpose. Do you see what's at stake here? I mean, we could either wander through life aimlessly or just kind of going at things and whatever comes, that's fine. And I realize my personality is driven much more intense, right? My wife said when talking about the guy that my daughter needed to marry, she's like, it'd be nice if she married somebody like you, just not as intense. It's like priceless. But here's the thing, we can just kind of wander through life and let life happen to us and end up living lives, as Thoreau said, lives of quiet desperation. Or pursuing, as King Solomon said, things that are fleeting and just kind of chasing after the wind. Just kind of letting life come after us or going after things that really aren't of substance. Instead, men, we can live, and my encouragement today is for you to stick a stake in the ground and say, living a life of purpose, on purpose, is what I want to do. Because here's the thing, you don't have centuries to figure this out. You may not even have decades to figure it out. The encouragement I want to throw in front of you today is to not just chase after pop culture or things or material things or whatever, but to live a life of purpose, on purpose. I get it. I get it. As I've told you in the past, I just kind of was wandering through a period of my life, taking cultural cues, thinking, man, I need to chase after my career. I need to chase after things. I need to chase after a nice truck, a nice house. I need to chase after whatever. And somewhere a few years ago, it hit me straight between the eyes. You don't have that long. So live a life of purpose, on purpose. How do you do that? That's what we're talking about. And I want to be able to give you in this episode some very practical things that you can just hang on to, just go, that's what it looks like, right? Here's the plan. Men of purpose pursue. There's a pursuit about their life. What do they pursue? They pursue lives of significance with a focus. Instead of pursuing after money for selfish gain, they pursue after something to be able to shape the world for good. Money becomes a tool for them. Instead of chasing after career, they chase after influence. Instead of chasing after pleasure, they pursue meaning. Instead of chasing after pop culture, they pursue ancient paths of wisdom. Author Dallas Willard said this, and I love it. I've memorized it. I frequently think about it and meditate on it. He said, when a good thing becomes an ultimate thing, ultimately that good thing becomes destructive. When a good thing becomes an ultimate thing, ultimately that good thing becomes destructive. Time, recreational time, a good thing. If it becomes an ultimate thing, it's going to become destructive. Your career, a really good thing. If it becomes your ultimate thing, it's going to become destructive. Relationships, if a girlfriend, if a wife, which is a very good thing, becomes an ultimate thing, ultimately it's going to become destructive. You see? And so, like driving down a mountain road, picture signs coming in front of you that say pursue growth and development. Pursue meaning. Pursue generosity. Pursue commitment. And you're not going to hear these things in pop culture, are you? Pursue sacrifice. Pursue laying your life down for somebody else. Pursue discipline. Pursue hard work. Pursue self-control. Pursue love, joy, peace, and patience. These are not messages that pop culture anywhere is going to send you. In fact, they're going to send you just the opposite, right? Pursuit is what a man of purpose does. He pursues things of significance, and he focuses on those things. Men of purpose produce. Make no mistake about it. They live fruitful lives. A man of purpose understands that he is put here on planet Earth, not just to kind of go about life randomly, but instead to go for it, to produce. He is not afraid of success, nor is he allured by it. A man of purpose is not afraid of his own success. I had a man talk to me one time. He said, "Rob, you are afraid of your own power." I was like, "What?" He was exactly right. I was afraid of my power. I was afraid of success in my life. Why? Because if I stepped out there, I couldn't make any more excuses. But men who are pursuing this are not afraid to produce in their lives. And it starts, men, with taking responsibility. It's a scary thing, isn't it? Taking responsibility. Let me ask you, how many areas of your life are you not taking responsibility for? You, just like me, same boat. We're in the same boat, friends. Make excuses. We pass the buck. We point the finger instead of saying, you know what? That's my responsibility. When we talk about this area of producing, it is your responsibility to anchor a job, to have a secure pursuit in your life of what career, and finding that and seeking that out. It is your responsibility for walking down a path of being successful on your own. It's amazing, man, how many women I talk to who are so tired of shouldering the weight of their husband. It's like your dysfunction of not taking responsibility meets her dysfunction of taking care of you, and it forms a giant malfunction, right? Your stuff is too heavy for her to carry. Men take responsibility for their lives. Men take responsibility for their lives because your weight is too heavy for her to carry. Partnering with her and not being a weight on her back, men, a lot of that starts with taking responsibility for your life. What about that kid who you've got, who's living in your basement, who's 20, let's just say 25? I'm not talking about special needs or anything like that. I'm talking about that kid who it is really time for you to teach them to take responsibility. I got to share with you, when I was 18, 19, definitely when I was out of college, if I moved back in with my parents, you know what I was? I was a loser, dude. It seems like somehow in our affluent society, not helping our kids take responsibility for their life. Starting young with doing some chores around the house, picking up toys, making their own lunch to go to school, whatever they're doing, taking responsibility to set alarms. It might be time to help that 25-year-old grab a notebook, grab a pen, sit down. We're going to make a plan. You're going to be on your own. It is really good for you to be a person who produces, who takes responsibility. It's helping you live a life of purpose on purpose. Difficult conversation? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But really good because there's no difference the way you were made and the way they were made to live a life talking about this issue today. Lastly, men of purpose preside. They preside. They have kind of a dominion that they live in. They have places of influence where they can have a stake in the ground and maybe have fruit from that. They preside over places of where they establish peace and security for others. They preside over a home, and I don't mean rule with an iron fist, the whole, dominant man, caveman type of stuff. I just mean they create space where others are safe and where others thrive. Maybe it's in your business where you're like, that's what I do. I love to create spaces where people have jobs and they develop and they grow. Or in my household, I see my job to help others grow and flourish. I'll tell you what, man, men of strong purpose, men of strong heart, men of strong king view their life as a little portion of a bigger kingdom that they have been entrusted with. Pastor I heard long ago said this phrase, and it stuck with me. Sovereign God has entrusted you with a portion of his kingdom. What are you doing with it? Men of purpose preside. What do men of purpose do? Men of purpose pursue lives of significance with a focus. Men of purpose produce. They live fruitful lives. And lastly, men of purpose, they preside. They have a little dominion that's theirs. And it's not selfish. It's not self-serving. Instead, it's self-sacrificing. It creates a space where others can live and thrive and where they live and thrive. That's what men of purpose do. Now, let me ask you this. Can you imagine a world where men, healthy men, didn't rule with an iron fist? No. But they were not passive either. Where men allowed their life to say, you know what? Gosh, this is what we do. We pursue lives of significance. We produce. We live fruitful lives, and we preside. We establish places of peace and prosperity. I'll tell you what, 99.9% of our cultural issues would go away if men pursued lives like that. As with other episodes, every episode, I want to leave you with a gold nugget. It's like a sign flashing on the side of that highway. This sign said, hey, dude, slow down. Here comes a curve. It's icy. This one is in a positive direction. It was written thousands of years ago by a man named Moses, who was leading a nation of Israel, an ancient Hebrew culture. And he said this, at the end of Psalm chapter 90, you can look it up. Teach us to number our days, that we may be able to present a heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days. Let's just not just go at life just kind of randomly, but to number them, to capture them, to make them count so that we might present, there's that word heart, a king space of wisdom. May you be a man like that in your world today. You see, men of purpose live life of purpose on purpose. As with every episode, I want to make this very, very, very tangible. I want to encourage you, just like I said at the beginning of this episode, here's really simple, okay? Go to Sherpa5280.com/the-next-stage, or you can just go to the website, Sherpa5280.com. You can go right there on that homepage, hit that the next stage link, and it'll take you to this episode. There's a PDF there for you. And it basically just walks through a couple questions that you don't have to get super deep. Just start really simple. Hey, Mike, let's go grab a coffee. He doesn't drink coffee. Look, great. Let's grab bourbon. I don't care, whatever it is. You drink bourbon, I'll drink coffee. I don't care. Let's just talk about this stuff. This guy's onto something really good that's hooking my life, and I want to lean into it. Can we just talk about it? Get some friends. It doesn't have to be super, super deep. It's just a starting point. But go to the website, download this PDF, and it will ask you to just some questions to help you reflect on today's episode. Men, thank you so much for joining me. I love this. This is the highlight of my week, to get to jump on here and just process some things with you and hopefully be a Sherpa in your life. What is that? That's the guy who walks alongside of a mountain climber. And he's walking up the peak, and he's probably the guy that takes the picture. He's not even the hero of the story. He just walks along with them. I'm so glad you've joined us for the next stage, and excited. Have you just share this with a friend. Join us for our next episode as we hit the last of these 4 Ps: passion, power, purpose. Next week is perspective. Next episode. Invite you to join us for our next episode. And men, I want to encourage you, go be awesome in your world today. We'll see you on our next episode of The Next Stage.